Good morning and welcome to Abstract Fairways. This is your host, Colonel Mustard, on day 16 of the Oregon PCT Trail, and this is pretty exciting for me because I'm about to cross Highway 58 or Willamette Pass, which over the last couple of years as I've been planning this trip has been the most frequent thoroughfare that the trail crosses as I've made my way from Vegas up and down to Portland or Eugene several times. So I've always wondered, what's it going to be like crossing this road when I get here on the trip? And I am here now, so it's kind of a milestone for me to be able to cross this road. We we hiked already a little over 3 miles up from Odell Lake and Shelter Cove. A little bit of extra energy this morning for some reason. I feel great. And the next 5 miles, we have to climb a hill that is one of the longer climbs in this section. So that's what the morning holds for me. But I'm going to cross this road, take a little break, take off the lightweight jacket, and hydrate and get ready for that climb. So you want to come with me? Here we go. I don't know if you can see the sign. There it is. Okay. The road is clear. And we did it. Have a great morning. I'm on my path. Talk to you soon. Well, we reached the top of the morning climb here from Willamette Pass. And what a spectacular view. If only you could see more, because there's a lot of smoke down there wafting across. You can see through the trees there the Rosary Lakes. There's 3 of them in a row. Got past those about 40 minutes ago. And what a view. All right, lots more to do today. There have been rumors over the last couple of days that at Charlton Lake there might be trail magic if you get there the right day and during the right hours. Well, we're getting very close to Charlton Lake, and we will see if we got here on the right day and in the right hours. So we should know within the next 10 minutes, and that's either going to be very exciting or quite disappointing. One of the two, and nothing in between. As far as signs go, that's a pretty good one.
We got the cooler drinks here, you know, the grapes, chips. We got Oreo, grapes, and bananas.
Oh, bananas and grapes.
And we got shade and cherry.
It's a little warm out today.
You know, we've seen about 10.
Well, good evening. It's the end of day 16, and it was quite an eventful one. As you can tell, we did get trail magic, some hot dogs, some Cokes, some good chairs to sit in and relax. So I want to thank for sure Ducky's mom and Ducky's dad, who are the hosts of the trail magic. Way to go, keep it up. We really appreciate it. Once I got there, met a couple name of Rev and Strider, and they were going to continue on for a little bit longer, which I wanted to also. So we went another 8 miles from that lake to the lake that we're on now, where we're going to camp for the night. Total mileage today was 28.8 miles, so about 6 miles longer than my previous long. What that does is it puts me a day ahead, so I can actually get to Elk Lake tomorrow, which is exciting, and relax and spend half the day there the next. But more importantly, might even be able to get to Bend a day early for what's in store later on. The only unfortunate thing is we don't know where Chaser is. So Chaser was supposed to get to us at the Trail Magic at some point, but they took everything down at 5 o'clock and Chaser still wasn't there. This morning, she was not quite as enthusiastic as I was about going. I felt really good this morning and knew I had big miles in me and really wanted to get going and tackle that first 5-mile hill, which I did. I had record speed today per mile by almost 4/10 greater throughout the day. So I'm not sure where that came from, but I like it. And hopefully I can continue or manage that pace as we get through Bend and then near the finish line up at Timberline and Cascade Lock. So we'll see. But for now, we've cleaned our legs because we walked through the very dusty and desolate fire-stricken area from, I believe, last year. And that was right after the Trail Magic for about 5 miles of really, you just don't want to be there. So you have to get through it. And thankfully the weather was cooling off a little bit, sun was going down, and we had a reasonable time. Now the only bad thing today, of course, is as you can see behind me, there's a lot of smoke. So we've had smoke all day. You can feel it. We've been breathing it all day. It's really dried everything out. So drinking as much liquid and getting as hydrated as possible has been really important. But for now, I'm gonna go eat a little bit of food, read some of the book that I picked up at the Shelter Cove yesterday for some evening entertainment, and then lights out and start it all again tomorrow. So good night, stay on your path. Another lovely blue sky morning on the trail. It's day 17 of the Oregon section of the PCT, and I'm seeing a lot of changes, not only in the surroundings, which is great, but also in the number of people. Now, as we go north, we typically would expect as we get closer to population areas, there's going to be a lot more day hikers, 2 and 3 day trips planned. So we'll see a lot of those, but we're seeing a lot of Sobos, or through hikers that started in Canada and are working their way south through Washington, Oregon, and then all the way through California. So a lot of them are getting to this point, and we're passing by them. So already this morning I've seen, I think, 8 people go in the opposite direction. That also is going to include a lot of folks who didn't get through the Sierras going northbound, and instead of skipping the Sierras and staying northbound, skipped the Sierras and went north and are then going to go south all the way through. So there's going to be a lot more people on the trail coming opposite, I think, for the next week, 2 weeks as that continues, and we see them going the other direction. After a long day yesterday, I'm happy to report that woke up this morning with no pain, and every part of the lower extremities is operating just fine and in good shape. Not the case though last night trying to go to sleep. Everything was restless, tossing, turning, as tired as I was, just could not get to sleep. But I've realized that's par for the course for me. If I get 2 or 3 hours of sleep a night, that seems to be pretty good. I'll get a lot of rest, just not a lot of good sleep. So anyway, after all the miles and the speed yesterday, it's nice to slow down, take it a little bit easier today. I'll take a few more breaks because I don't need to go nearly as far to get to the destination I have planned at Elk Lake. So with that in mind, it's been a while since we did a trail video. So this is going to be a little bit different and obscure, but we're going to go back quite a ways. So we're going to take it back to the 70s. And when I was growing up, this particular artist was playing in my house every night when I went to bed. So grew up listening to all of his music and learning to love it. And not only was a lot of it very soothing and comforting, but just makes you feel good. He was one of the premier celebrity, if you will, conservationists, both nature and wildlife, back in the 70s. And of course, we're talking about John Denver. So some people watching this may not know who John Denver is. Well, Google him. It's pretty easy to do. We're going to find a really old song of his which really fits this adventure, and it's called To the Wild Country. So it might take you a while to find. So once I'm done talking, feel free to pause, go ahead and look it up and make sure that it's ready. And it crescendos. It's not long, but it crescendos very nicely. So play it loud because this will make you feel great, especially if it's in the morning. So without further ado, I'm going to let you pause. And when we come back, we'll be ready to watch a little bit of the Three Sisters Wilderness together. And Mom, this is for you. All right, so before we start, I also would like to encourage you, if you have a song that you think would make a good trail hiking video for this segment, please go ahead and send it in the comments with name of the song, the artist, and the running time, because I probably won't have it on me, so I'll need to know how long to video. If I don't know the song, it's not going to get played, so make sure it's appropriate and something that I might know. Doesn't have to be too obscure. All right, so here we go. John Denver, To the Wild Country. Let's go ahead and start. Fantastic. Well, if that doesn't get you pumped up for the day, I'm not sure what will. So find something else. But in my world, that'll work. Have a fantastic day. We'll keep you posted. Good morning and welcome to day 18. Woke up this morning at the Elk Lake campground to a sound we have not heard before, and that was raindrops coming down on the tent. So in the wee hours of the morning, moved everything underneath the vestibule to keep it as dry as possible. Kind of nice because we've had nothing but blue sky for almost 3 weeks, and then yesterday evening we got some cloud cover, and a little bit of rain last night will soften everything up, make everything a little bit less dusty for our hike today, which should be somewhere between 15 and 20 miles. We're just kind of gonna go and figure out where we end up. But I thought, since we can't really get out of the tent yet, we're gonna wait till the rain subsides. Here is kind of what home looks like. Usually at the end of the night, I bring in kind of my book, my maps, my personal kit, which has all kinds of things that most people would say probably don't bring, but I do anyway. We're gonna move over here to the book that I found at Shelter Cove, which I told Chaser I would finish by the time I got to Bend. So I'm halfway through it, and that really helps at night since I can't sleep very well, so I can read for an hour, and if things go well, I should be able to finish it up. Robert Parker, man, Spencer character, not underrated, but sometimes forgotten. Go find a Robert Parker Spencer book. You won't regret it. Okay, what else is in here? Electronic kit for sure. I've got pillow, obviously sleeping bag, what I sleep in, pair of comfortable shorts and a long sleeve shirt that's nicely insulated, and that just at the end of the night is nice to put something else on besides the clothes that I've been wearing for days and days at a time. This is my kind of first aid kit, where really all I've had to use it for the most part, is to kind of make sure that my feet are well protected and cushioned for the day ahead. Any hot spots, take care of those, and any frequent concern areas, make sure I get those padded up nicely. Feet and legs are actually pretty clean because we're at the lake, so I was able last night to go ahead and wash them down pretty good. And it's never a bad thing to go to bed in a sleeping bag with clean feet. Alright, so moving on. Again, I just brought the pack underneath the vestibule so it's ready to go. Always got water handy, hopefully. One of the things that's been huge over the last week, get you some mosquito repellent. That's worked actually better than some of the other ones that I've used in the past. And then the camp shoes, and really that's all you got. So you can probably hear the rain's coming down again. It's supposed to last for another half hour or so. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. We're not going to get out of the tent probably for another half hour. So it's a good excuse to sleep in, relax, maybe read a little bit more of my book, and hopefully this will subside. We can pack up and get out of here by 10. Have a pretty comfortable day, walking in a lot less temperature than we've had over the last week. So highs only in the mid 70s. So that's kind of the news from inside the tent here on day 18. We'll see what the rest of the day brings. As far as your day goes, I hope it's fantastic. Well, those morning showers did some nice work on the trail, keeping the dust down and making it a little bit more compact and smooth. So we were able to climb to the top of Mount Kusa, and from here, not a bad view of Mount Bachelor. And if we pan a hair left, we're going to see Broken Top right there. And unfortunately, there's some trees next to it. Otherwise, the South Sister would also be visible. But about 6,600 feet in elevation where I'm standing right now at the top of this trail. And time to get down, because the forecast may have some thunderstorms later in the day. I certainly want to be in a better place than the top of the mountain. Did I promise you a sister? Yeah, I didn't forget. That's the unforgiving South Sister, third highest peak or mountain in Oregon. And we're gonna go right by it today and tomorrow. Well, those predicted thunderstorms around 4 o'clock have started to make their way in. And we got quite a bit of rumbling and thunder in the area. With some thunderstormy skies, but thankfully that is where I came from. And where I'm going to looks considerably better. So, since there's not really much duck and cover here in this particularly charred area, we're going to stay on my path and keep going till I feel very threatened by something or get to my next waypoint. The adventure continues, and so far today it's been an absolutely beautiful hike through some lovely meadows, valleys, across the plains, kind of everything you want, except for the thunderstorms, of course. But hey, just another obstacle. So that last clip was about 5 to 10 minutes ago, and then the clouds turned and started following me, and they were faster than me. So while there has not been any rain yet, there's a predominant thundercloud. So being a golfer, knowing when the weather is bad and it's time to just call it, I'm going to hang out under this grove of trees. If it rains, I'll have shelter, and I'm protected from the elements, and I'll just hang out here and have my break, read a book for a while, and let this thing pass through. So if you were worried, don't worry, I'm safe and all is well. Okay, that storm still kind of in the area, but there was no rain, there was no lightning, so we ventured forth, and now we found ourselves here. South Sister, Middle Sister, North Sister. That's kind of cool. Okay, so let's talk about yesterday for a minute. It was an interesting day. Definitely some of the most diverse trail, and unfortunately, I didn't get a good opportunity to really enjoy it or experience it maybe the way I could have because of the weather that we were following and chasing. But we went around South Mountain, we went around our South Sister, around Middle Sister, through some beautiful valleys and meadows, and really it was quite a diverse day of hiking. It was absolutely beautiful, and I wish I would have had the time and the weather to enjoy it more, because I think overall that part of the journey was one of the highlights of the whole trip, and so unfortunately kind of got cut short a little bit. However, we're starting day 19 just short of Obsidian Falls and Sunshine Meadows, and less than a mile into the trail this morning, we are going to get another of the highlights of this particular area right around this corner. So I'm going to show you this as we walk towards it together. Probably the first waterfall that we've seen so far in Oregon. I would imagine that there will be more. And I'm gonna go down there, resupply all my water for the day, because I've probably got at least 20 miles to go today, depending on where I end up stopping, because the second half of the leg today goes through the lava beds and is not the most enjoyable part of the entire hike. So we've got some decisions to make, but so far we've done pretty well, and we'll stay on our path. Have a great day. The map still says we're in Oregon, but the landscape begs to differ. I'm not going to take a step because we're now on lava. Tough footing. Going to be like this for about the next 20-25 miles, I think, as we cross into the desolate Mount Washington wilderness area. Good thing there's some cloud cover today because there are no trees. Let's see how we do. Hello there, Colonel Mustard here at the end of day 19, and as you'll notice, I'm not in a tent. Let me tell you why. A little bit of a setback today. Woke up not feeling very strong, and knowing that I had 20 miles to go as a goal today, which would have left me 10 miles tomorrow before I got picked up and brought into Sisters for an intermission, if you will. However, after the first 10 miles, got to Mackenzie Pass and realized another 10 miles just was not going to be doable. I was so fatigued, and I think a lot of that has to do with the lack of sleep I've been getting on the trail. Maybe 2, 3, maximum 4 hours a night, just kind of tossing and turning. And I think that finally caught up to me after 13, 14 days, whatever, between that and then knowing that the next 20 miles was going to be without water. So I'd have to carry water for the 20 miles over a very exposed part of the trail with lava rock and not much, if any, shade. And the whole thing just seemed very daunting, especially the state that I was in. So I instead just decided to call my good friend Gary here in Sisters, Redmond area. And he was going to pick me up tomorrow. We just moved that up one day and got to his house and just kind of going to rest a little bit, recoup, try and get some sleep, and be ready to get back on trail in a few days after my scheduled intermission. So with that said, that's the end of day 19. Didn't end the way that I wanted it to, but probably based on my condition and the weather outside, probably was for the best. So just trying to make good decisions and stay safe so that I can finish this journey as we get back on trail in a few days. So again, this is Abstract Fairways. Stay on your path. I'm just deviating from mine briefly, and we'll be back on soon. Take care.